I'm Dr. Jean, and today joining me are my two dear friends, Arletta and Jed. We met a year ago on a Facebook study group under the title of Neville Goddard, and today we've become best friends. And we would like to share some information with you all on the work of Neville Goddard. And so before I do that, I would like to tell you all, share with you all how I got to know Neville Goddard. And after I share, Arletta and Jed will also share their story. It was about 7 years ago. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, and I met this man, a friend of my family, and he had this beautiful, beautiful mansion. It was about 20,000 square feet or about 1858 meters. And so I walked into this home and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is just fabulous. This gentleman was living in Brazil at the time and he called while we were there. And he asked that I get on the phone. And the first question he asked me, he said, Dr. Jean, how do you like this place? And I was like, oh, I love it. And he said these important words to me that changed my life. He said, you can have this or something better. I didn't flinch. I wanted to know how I could have that too. And he shared with me to study. He said, I want you to study Neville Goddard for 1 year. I had never heard of Neville Goddard, but I thought, I'm going to study Neville Goddard for 1 year. And so I began to study Neville Goddard. At first, I must tell you, it was very challenging for me. There were days I wanted to say, I can't get this. This is just too complicated. But then I reminded myself of that mansion I was walking in and said, okay, if this is true for him, then it has to be true for me. And I dug back in and I started going deeper and deeper studying Neville Goddard. And then one day I said, if this is true, then I'll create something amazing in my life, something that no one would believe. And I began to drive through town, this part of town. It was one of the most opulent part of towns in my city. And I said, I want to live there. If this is true, my bank account did not say I want to live there. But I knew something that no one would believe. And if this was true, if it was really true, what I was reading and what this person said to me, and I would test it for myself. And I said, I want to live there. And I did. And my bank account did not say I want to live there. I live in that place today. Something that no one would believe. And there are more stories and more stories that I can share with you. And a part of this time together is to share with you all that you can too. You can have anything. And my bank account did not say I want to live there. We're going to show you how. And there are more stories and more. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Aletta to share with you all how she came to know Neville Goddard. You can too. You can have
Hello.
anything. And my bank account did not say
I met,
no,
10 years ago, I found out about Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I loved his book, and he mentioned Neville Goddard a lot. But I was not ready yet for the message. But almost 2 years ago, I started following Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I went to one of his retreats, but I was not ready yet. I saw that our but almost 2 years ago, I started and I was following Dr. Dispenza, and great things that people were developing with their mind, and they were manifesting. So after coming back from Dr. Joe Dispenza's retreat, I just reminded myself about Neville Goddard and that he's taking with their fun and they were simpler. And so after coming back, it was simpler, but even that Dr. Joe Dispenza Street, I just like to meditate and then have his technique do all those things. I just like to meditate and then his music do all those things. I just like our meditation and just you that do all those things. I just like our meditation and just you that do all those things. I just like our meditation.
And what about you, Jed?
Yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how you know
And what about you, Jed?
yes, I found out Neville a year ago. Yes, how
Absolutely.
you
Thank you
know
for sharing that, Jed. Thank you so, so much. What we normally do each week, we have a lecture or book,
yes, how
and
you
we discuss the lecture. What we normally do
yes, I found out
today, we want to the imagination. As you all know, Neville Goddard was one of the most famous subjects to me of all, and he shared so many important principles of how to have exactly what you say. And so what we do is we just talk about the lecture today. As you all know, Neville Goddard, The Power of the Imagination. We talk about it, we discuss it, and then we just look at our lives and talk about how it relates to our life today and some of the things that we have created through using Neville's techniques. Again, we want you to come on this journey with us. I tell you, when I tell you the imagination creates your reality, it is the truth. There is absolutely, positively nothing, and I say nothing, you cannot create. Join us as we go through this lesson, The Power of the Imagination. So, one of the things is we normally just relax, we talk about the lecture. So, today we're going to talk about how this lecture, The Power of Imagination, will get you started. It will allow you to know just simple techniques, simple principles of using Neville Goddard's work. And more importantly, as we go through these lessons, you're going to find new information coming from us. We're going to be sharing materials with you, things that we've created, things that we're doing, and we want you to be a part of that as well. So let's just dive into the power of the imagination. I'll start. So in this book, Neville first off says, you can achieve everything you desire by using your imagination. Sounds to some people, if you're hearing this for the first time, you're saying, what? My imagination? Well, the truth of the matter is, everything that has been invented, someone had to use their imagination. Someone had to see it before it became a reality. And this is what Neville's staple was on, that we are that imagination, that we are God, the God is our imagination in us. So let's think about it this way. If there's anything you want right now, what is to be prosperous, to have all the money you desire, to have love, someone who truly loves you and only you, to have material things. You can have all of that. And I know you're saying, no, not me, not possible for me. You're Dr. Jean. That's not true. When I started this journey with Neville, I was just finishing graduate school and I had zero. So I was starting with absolutely a new business, left corporate America, and said, I'm just starting this journey all over, and I'm going to believe this, and I'm going to do it for myself. And sure enough, I did. And so when we use our imagination, when we see what is it that you really want? What is that desire, that God in you? What is it that you want? You put your imagination into the state of what Neville calls the wish fulfilled. So, what do we mean by that? Okay, let's give you an example. I wanted to live in this opulent, this wealthy part of town. And so I would see myself in that state. How would I feel if I were living in the wealthiest part of town? Well, I would be driving every day and seeing these huge buildings and these fancy stores and driving into this opulent neighborhood with a gated community and swimming pool and everything. And sure enough, that's exactly what I created. And that's exactly what he talks about, using your imagination every single day. See yourself at the end, the state of you already have what you desire. Sounds simple, right? Well, you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. And I'm going to take a pause right now and just ask Arletta. Arletta, do you want to share anything at this point about the power of the imagination?
Sure. He gives us a very simple technique, and he just starts with basic stuff. First of all, if you like, you should be very careful what you are thinking about and what are your assumptions before you go to sleep, because the nighttime, the sleeping time, is so important for us to create, to manifest, actually, because we can plant in our subconscious mind whatever we want. So if you have a desire, it's very smart to go to sleep with this feeling of your desire being already fulfilled, that it's like with the feeling that it's already yours, because you are feeding your subconscious mind with this feeling that it's already done. And Neville says that what's done in your imagination will be done in your outer world, in your reality. It's gonna follow your imagination, as long as you are faithful to your imagination, to what you desired and what you already did in your imagination before going to sleep. So you should be faithful and keep this feeling of your wish fulfilled as long as you can, to fall asleep with this feeling and to sustain this feeling whenever you can, not to sabotage this imaginal act with things that you normally do during the day that are opposite to what you desire. So this is very simple technique, and it's very powerful. Remember, go to sleep with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It's the most powerful thing you can imagine.
Absolutely. That is so true, Aletta. That feeling, having the feeling, knowing that exactly what you want and seeing it being very vivid in your imagination. It's almost as if you're in that dream, you're in that storyline, you are feeling exactly how you want it to be. And Neville also talks about most people are afraid to use their imagination. I can agree with that because in the beginning, you know what we'll say? oh, this is not going to happen for me. It can't happen for me. Can't be real. But if we stop using it can't, because remember, it can't never could do anything, and say, it can happen. It shall happen. It will happen. And so we begin to see everything so crystal clear. If it's a home you want, walk in your home, see your kitchen, see your bedroom, see your swimming pool, whatever it is that you want in your home, make it so real. It is the feeling that you already have this. And as Aletta said, you go into that state akin to sleep, almost a very sleepy state. And you begin to see that. I remember just seeing myself driving in that neighborhood. And then sometimes I would just go and drive in that neighborhood feeling as if I'm already there. Because that's where you're supposed to go, to the end. It is the end that you go to. And so most people make the mistake of not using the imagination. So I challenge you today. Start today. What do you want to create? It doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how large, it doesn't matter in between. What do you want to create? We're going to test you. We're going to see if you believe what we're telling you. And each week, we're going to come on and we're going to share information with you all. But today, this right here, it starts with the imagination. Dream big. Know that you can have anything you want. A lover coming back in your life, marriage. Nobody even talks about in this lesson. If you see yourself married, in your imagination, see yourself wearing this beautiful ring. Just see yourself and then ask yourself, how would it feel if I know someone was this my lover, if he was asking me to marry him? Doesn't it feel great? It's that feeling that you want to have. Jed, do you want to share anything more about this lesson?
Yeah, well, we had a question coming here from Shaifa. He's asking how to know what we desire, how to feel, and especially when the situation is hard. So, he also, Neville talked about in this lecture about getting in the state. And I think that's the key right there is getting in the state that you want to live in. So that kind of trumps everything, even when the situation is hard. If you can just keep going back to that state and stay in that state of mind, no matter what happens, you rise above whatever the situation is, because the state trumps all. It's you're raising your consciousness to a higher level, so all the other stuff is just small, right? You just look, everything is, you become a giant and everything else is small to you when you can just stay locked into your state. So that would be my suggestion for that question. What do you guys think about that? When the situation gets hard, how do you feel? How do you know what you desire?
I say I totally agree with you, Jed. Also persist in it. Uh, It's only hard if we say it's hard. We persist in it saying no, but this is the way I choose for it to be. This is what I would like to create. This is how I want my story to be. You are the creator of your story. So because of that, when those times have come, when the times come and they're challenging times, just say to yourself, I will persist because I am the creator of my life. And this is the way I want it to be. And so if it doesn't quite come out the way you want it at that moment, guess what you can do? Neville talks about in this lesson that you can revise it. Take a sheet of paper and write down, no, this is how I want my life to be. This is how I want my story to end up. And you persist in it. You stay there, no matter how it looks. It's that feeling of knowing what you desire. That is what will come to you. Do not see it the way you do not want it to be. See it the way you want it to be and continue to persist. Persist. That's the word. Stick with it.
Yeah, for me, because I myself have a difficult situation, for me, very helpful is understanding the law itself, that what we see in our reality is only projection of our beliefs and our assumptions and our thoughts that are kind of affirmations, actually. Because what we keep repeating in our mind, what we keep talking to ourselves are just affirmations, and we are affirming that we want more of that. So it's very difficult, but for me to ignore my reality. But this is what I'm trying to do, and this is most fruitful technique that I can talk about, because when you have this distance and you are not taking it personally, you understand that this is only a projection, this is only my manifestation. When you understand that and you focus on the end, what would you really want? And if you don't know what is your desire, you can think about, like, how would I want to feel? Like probably everybody would like to be happy, would like to be loved, would like to be respected. So if you are confused what your desire is, just focus on that, focus on these feelings. Like, how would you like your life to look like? How would you feel being loved, respected, and happy? And just ignore what's going on around you, because if you persist and when you are faithful to your imagination, your reality will follow. This is the law that Neville Goddard is talking about. So, and this is what we are studying for last year, like every single week, every single Sunday. And we are pretty convinced that this is how our reality works. So this is my advice. This is what I would recommend.
Right. And in this lecture, he talks a lot about the state of akin sleep. It's kind of a funny word, you know. It's one of the tricky things with Neville is his language. He's from Barbados, so he writes with British English, and it's a lot more formal, you know, from a decade ago or a century ago, really. One of the things he says is a state of akin sleep, and in this lecture, he talks quite a bit about it, falling asleep, thinking of what you want fulfilled. And you know, that's a hard thing to accomplish. It's a hard thing that I've been doing. I've been doing a breathing technique. Actually, the three of us have been doing breathing techniques, and I think we've all experienced that, where we have that state of akin sleep. It's kind of like, best way to describe it is you're trying to stay conscious. You're kind of trying to fight not falling asleep. And it's a tricky thing to get that desire focused while you're in that state, because you're pretty much unconscious at that point. So do you guys have any techniques on rising above to keep that wish fulfilled as you're falling asleep? Because the whole point of this is Neville saying that it's your conscious mind is communicating with your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is actually what creates the wish fulfilled, that works in another dimension or whatnot. So you guys have a technique that helps you master that state of akin sleep?
For me, I just get a more meditative state for me. It's just being silent and going within and just allowing myself to see exactly what it is that I desire, and feeling it and going to the end and knowing that I'm going to have it, that my wish is going to be fulfilled, and just enjoying that feeling. And so I do that as I go off to sleep, and it works for me.
Yeah, same here. I do that just before going to sleep. Sometimes in the morning when I meditate in the morning, or I just sit down without meditation. It's kind of meditation to go deep in your imagination and have this feeling of your wish fulfilled.
So it's you'd say it's a routine, so you just get in the habit of doing it every time you fall asleep. So therefore, it's just part of falling asleep now.
That's correct. That's correct, Jed. And it's part of that persisting. It's over and over again. And I do recall in the beginning, I would say to myself, you mean I really have to do this over and over again? And sometimes you have to just push yourself when you get to this place of saying, okay, I've done it a month and nothing has happened. Never put time on anything. No, no, never put time. Don't worry about when it'll happen. It could happen within a day. It could be months. It could be years. Release that. Let that go. It will happen as long as you persist in it. It will happen. So I think that is a wonderful opportunity for us. Are there any more questions, Jed?
Not from any of our viewers, but I would like to go back to this lecture. And a lot of his lectures, he doesn't really give you step by step, but this one he does. He says, first step, know exactly what you want. Make a lifelike representation of what you want. So imagine what you want. And then as you fall asleep, imagine you are what you want. So that was nice that he gave us a step-by-step there.
Absolutely.
And do you guys agree that that's a good process to go by?
Absolutely. I was just going to say that too. When you said that, it's just know exactly what you want before you fall asleep, and then feel that feeling, just that feeling of knowing how it feels to have exactly what you desire, and just go to sleep in that. Just go to sleep knowing it's yours, and it is yours. You are the creator. You're creating your life every single moment of the day. So we may as well create the best life, right? When you guys say?
Oh yeah, we're in control. So either you do it or someone else is doing it for you.
Yes, exactly. It's very important to understand that we are responsible for our lives, and sometimes people are afraid of being responsible because it's easier to think that everything is because of some circumstances, that it's because of politics, it's because of the weather, it's because it's not my fault. It's so easy to blame others. But when we understand that we can have everything and we can manifest what we want, we can live actually our dream lives if we want. It's so powerful. And I just recommend everybody to go deep into Neville's lectures because it's so important to have this key to our dream world, and we are the key.
Absolutely, Arletta, we are the key. And with that being said, Facebook friends, we hope you've enjoyed this lecture on The Power of the Imagination by Neville Goddard. Each week, we're going to be sharing with you amazing information. One thing we will all guarantee, if you follow this, if you follow the teachings, if you follow the information, you will have your desires fulfilled. We are the creator. We are the creator of our life. Of our lives. So we have that ability to have exactly what it is that we want. So I challenge each of you each week to join us, to dive in deeper, and to know that your wishes will be fulfilled. And so I'll turn it over to Jed or Aletta. Any parting words you'd like to share with our friends? We'll do it again next Sunday.
Yeah, thanks for showing up today. And please, we have a new YouTube channel, so check us out on YouTube. We have the links there on Facebook. So please subscribe to our YouTube, since we just inaugurated that today.
Yeah, and we'll put the link to the lecture, of course. So if you're interested, please listen to it because it's original Neville Goddard's voice. So it's very precious.
And also like us on our Facebook page. Follow us. More information will come. We hope that you've enjoyed today. And as I said, Jed, Aletta, and I, we will bring information to you each week. I will tell you this one thing. Neville Goddard, the information he shares is truth. It is truth. And if you just stick with it, persist in it, you too will realize your imagination is reality. You are the creator of your life. So why not create the best? And we're here to help you create the absolute best. Have a great day. Thank you all for joining.